It's a very, very special day on Craig and Friends because we are bringing you Ask Craig and Chrissy. And I say we, of course, because who is with me? The fabulous Chrissy Chlapecka. Hey, Chrissy.
Hey, how are you?
Good, thanks. How are you doing?
I'm great. Just living
Mm-hmm.
in a pandemic the best you can live at the moment.
That's right. Yeah, just living, not needing men, being hot, and living your full fantasy.
Yeah, exactly. You get
Mm.
me. You get me.
Well, lots of people responded. They have a lot of pressing needs that we have to fill.
So many. So many. I'll do my best. Listen, I'm no professional. I'm smart, but So
If there were any questions about how to like balance a checkbook or cooking, I removed them because I don't think either of us could really assist them.
no, cooking. Listen, I like grew up on microwaved meals. I don't know the first thing about cooking. I make people cook for me.
Is there one thing that you make for yourself?
Um
Oh, I've had that dish. That's a lovely exotic dish. Yeah.
It's so good. A lot of times it's the like midnight, oh shit, I need to eat and I order something.
Yeah, I know that move as well. I actually took a walk to pick up food the other day. That was a big breakthrough, which,
Wow.
yeah.
Walking. That's huge. Me, I'm like, do I pay that extra like $20 on DoorDash? I shouldn't because I have to pay rent, but I do.
Right, because you got to eat, right? Everyone can
Yeah,
relate to that.
we gotta eat. It's important.
Very important, as is romance. And that starts us off with Ellie Babbitt's question. And Ellie wants to know, how do you flirt with girls? Because they always take everything as just a friendly compliment, like, no, 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 I'm literally in love with you. What do you think about it?
That, ooh, Ellie, Ellie, that is a tough question. I, okay, so I like recently had like come out and been like comfortable in like my sexuality as of like May.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and so, but I still wasn't sure, I was like, I don't know how to do this. Like, kind of the same thing. I'm like, I don't know how to flirt with girls. Girls are perfect. And like, I'm mean. Like, I know I'm perfect, but like, um,
Yeah, but how do you make
so
perfect talk to perfect in the way that you know that you can get
yeah.
something that's perfect?
And like women respect you, and like I want to be respected and like it's difficult because it is like where's that boundary of just like you're saying like, "Oh my God, you're so pretty. You're gorgeous." No, like I want to make out with you. Like no, that's what it is. And so
Right.
that I think though, like in my experiences with like flirting with women and where it's been not just I've been in that phase so many times. They're like, you're pretty, hi phase." But oh, I guess just like talking to them as a real human being, like I feel like that's how you get anyone to really know that you're interested. Like asking about them, like trying to genuinely understand who they are, how they walk around in this world. And I don't think like yes, that can be platonic. You can talk about that stuff with your friends, but like I don't know. I feel like really diving deep into that person, like really trying to understand them, having those deeper conversations about just whatever it is. It really is the best way, I think, to flirt, possibly with women or anyone that's not a man, because it's not just kind of face value. It's like deeper. It's a deeper connection, I'd say. That has been my experience, at least. But also, I haven't had the most experience as maybe somebody else has because I'm still like new to it, I guess.
Navigating the landscape,
Yeah.
as it were. Yeah.
And navigating my like yeah, my comfortability and like where that was, especially like summer, I didn't really know still. I was like, I know I like women, but like I don't know how to do this. And then like, as time has gone on, I'm like, okay, I get it. I'm pretty sure I know how this works. But also I don't fucking know ever. So
But you know it when you feel it, which is not really the most helpful thing. But it is in a way because I
Mhm.
recently I realized I was queer few years ago, and that's when I started realizing, oh, sometimes I talk to guys differently than I talk to other guys, and weirdly that made flirting with everyone easier. And I
Yeah.
just noticed that like you sort of click into something, but I guess if they're asking how do you know if they are on the same page, that's a tricky one.
I guess that is tricky. I guess just seeing their level of interest with you though, like how far that goes, because like you can do so much and try to get to know somebody and talk to them. You can try your hardest, and some people are not going to be receptive to that. And like, it is nothing against who you are or like your inner beauty or whatever, but maybe it just doesn't click on the same end. And sometimes we just have to accept that and like keep going. So I guess it's really paying attention to how the other person is talking to you and not worrying if the person likes you, but worrying if you like them, I think.
Yeah, that's a really good point because you can get too hung up on that and then not even present the real version of yourself. In which case you're not going,
Exactly.
yeah, and you're not going to get too far with that sort of thing. So
Exactly.
it's tricky, Ellie. So good luck. Report back.
Yes. Let me know.
And now we move on to insert cringe name here. Okay, sure. Well, I'm fine with that. Are you all right with that?
Oh, totally.
Good. And their question is, what's a good sex-proof lipstick?
Oh boy. Listen, I'm still on the search to find the sex proof lipstick. Okay, the one I wear, I would say is my favorite sex proof lipstick, favorite whatever proof lipstick. It's the Maybelline liquid liner.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like a funky texture because I think it's kind of a little sticky in a way, but that's good because it's not going to just slide off like a gloss or like a regular lipstick you're putting on. It doesn't like get all over your face. When I wear a mask, it stays. I put that mask on and I take it off and it's all there.
Mask proof,
Beautiful.
sex proof. What more could you want?
Sex proof though. Like
Oh.
it'll come off. Like I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
But
Ish. So yeah, like it's halfway.
Depends on how much is happening, I guess.
Right. Certain activities, no problem whatsoever. Other activities, well, you can't really guarantee it.
Like it'll probably fade a little, but you'll have a little left, a little residue left.
All you need is a residue, particularly if the activities are fulfilling enough. Who cares at the end of the day?
Who cares? Don't worry about it. You're beautiful.
Isabel Buxton would like to know, how do I reach Chrissy's level of swag?
Swag. Ooh.
It's
swaggy?
true. You're loaded with swag. You're loaded with swag. You have an abundance.
Man. Do I?
I'd say
Stop it, you. Me? Stop it.
Back to Ellie. Use some stuff like that when you're talking to a lady. There you go.
Mm-hmm.
Be genuinely interested. That's the first thing, right? I know we're skipping back to an earlier question, but I think just be genuinely interested. And like whatever it is where you're feeling good about talking to someone, you're feeling your most swag filled, turn that on inside. To borrow a line from Neil Diamond, turn on your heart light. And then yeah. And I noticed that something about the eyes. There's something about the eyes when you're talking to someone and you're just speaking in kind of a flirty way that's not outwardly flirty, because sometimes people make the mistake of being too, like, go for the intense pickup thing.
Yes. Oh, God, yes. If it's too, like, I feel like, especially with women, that's there, like, or anyone, I guess, but, like, there's that feeling and you just know. And if you're like, I'm giving you a lot of this, like, feeling, like, I'm not really feeling it back, you'd need to just stop. Like,
right.
It's okay to accept defeat sometimes, okay?
Oh, yeah.
But, it's the eye contact, it's the nonverbal, like, hey,
Yeah, absolutely. Also, if they recoil from the touch, if you just happen to touch them on the arm, take that as a sign that maybe it's not going to work out.
Yeah. Nicely touched, just a little arm.
Yeah,
little arm thing.
Exactly. It could be like a friendly thing, but then if you're trying to work out whether or not they want to go the extra mile, as it were.
Yes.
Yeah.
Body language is a big part of it too.
Yeah, that's very, very true. There's a lot of analysis online about body language, but some of it gets to be a little too far. Like, oh, if her feet are pointing towards you, I don't know about that, but you can feel it. I think just make sure you're open and tuned into the frequencies of the room and the other person.
Yes. If you're like genuinely trying to feel what's going on, you'll know. But if you're too clouded in your head about like, oh my God, I like this person, I'm in love with them, like you might not realize that. So it's really like taking, like I said earlier, it's so important with like any relationship, what no matter like who your partner is, just like wondering like, am I worrying so much about if they like me or do I actually like them? And that is how I ended my last relationship. I was like, I hate you. Like, I hate you so much. I need to go. There's so much of us who I feel like really just want to be liked. It's like that validation thing. And I'm sure it stems for many people from very different areas. Like mine is my codependency issue and like the way I grew up. And so I needed a lot of that love that I wasn't possibly getting before. So even if I didn't like the person, I was like, you need to like me. Like, I crave this. This is what I need. And then I was working on it in therapy and was like, oh shit, that's like not like I hate this person and I care about if they like me. Bitch, no, I hate you. Like,
Yeah.
whew,
There's also
yeah.
sometimes a thing where we are so like hell bent on trying to make something work and
Yes.
overlooking their negative attributes and excusing it, which is, hallmark of codependency. I know all about that. Uh, and
Mm-hmm.
that's maybe just as dangerous as anything else, really.
Yeah, very dangerous. I mean, that really hurts yourself and puts yourself in like a way more vulnerable position than you even need to be in,
Mm-hmm.
I think. But
Yeah.
it's hard. It's not an easy thing to realize one or get out of two because you can still know it's there and still it can be a hard thing to figure out, I guess.
Yeah. It's like a knee jerk reaction. It's automatically
Mm-hmm.
what your system is used to doing. So it takes a
Yeah.
lot of mindfulness to overcome that.
Yes.
And back to the question about how to reach Chrissy's level of swag, I think what we just talked about is a good indication of part of the pathway, right? Going to therapy, starting to
Mm-hmm.
sort of drill down into what matters to you and what makes you happy.
Yes, 100%. I think like the only way I could get to this spot I'm in now and like thinking of how I was a year ago, just like in a shitty relationship, treating myself like shit and like not listening to what I needed. I think now to reach my level of swag, baby, you need to listen to your goddamn self. Like your intuition knows, your gut knows, and like whatever you're thinking in the back of your head is probably what you need to listen to. Like a lot of it has just been like realizing I don't need to deal with people that treat me like shit, or I don't need to treat myself like shit. Like
Right.
I'm very capable of treating myself with the love I would love to give to another person. I can love myself that way. And it's hard. And like I feel like I look like I have achieved that and like I've won or something, but like it's daily like struggle. It's a daily thing that you need to work on. It's not very easy, but it's worth it because I've like never been happier and never felt like more of myself before.
Yeah. And that's it. That's the key thing. And really, our outward appearance, I think, is just simply a reflection of how we're doing inside.
Yes. Yes. And a lot of people I don't think really understand that. So they'll go really fast to judge me of like, oh, but like, Chrissy, you're just quote unquote, I've heard exactly how men want you to dress. And it's like, well, that is a whole thing to unpack later, but it's like, you don't need to dress for anybody but yourself. And I like pink and I like fuzz and I like, all these things that make me and the like fun, colorful makeup. And it's not for anyone else. It's for me. And like in the day, I'm the only person that like I want to please
Yeah.
and, take care of, because I have me the rest of my life. So I'm going to dye my hair pink because it's my comfort color. So,
Yeah. And we need some comfort right now.
yeah. Yeah, we do.
Basically, being the most version of yourself possible is probably the way to get the kind of swag that you're talking about.
Period. Just don't care, babe. It's hard to not care, but don't.
Yeah, because it's a lot harder dealing with juggling all of the expectations of others as if they mattered.
Yes. And they don't. Like, at the end of the day, people are so much more worried about themselves than they are about you. So,
That's true.
like, maybe they'll stare at you on the street. I get that all the time, but, like, later they're not even going to remember who I was. So, who cares?
Maybe you've inspired them to sort of step out a little bit more than they had before. That can happen
That
too.
too.
And because sometimes, especially if you're used to the feeling of being looked at in an unpleasant way, when you're then sort of what's the word? A standout attraction in the room or on the street, it takes a minute to adjust to be like, oh, they're staring at me in sort of an admiration.
Right. There's a difference, though. There's the creepy men who stare at you, and then
Fair
the
enough.
people who are like, I love you, like something like that.
And you can tell that pretty quick too.
Yeah.
And now this brings us to a related question from Clover Neely, who writes, how do you ignore people staring in public even if you feel confident in what you look like?
I think it's hard, I think, to ignore that. But also, like, I think of myself like I'm this, like, bad bitch, big celebrity. I'm like, yeah, you're staring at me. I look good, and I know it, and you know it too. Like, I went to, or I was just, like, walking around. This, like, old couple was outside taking a stroll like I was, and they were just, like, staring at me, and I was like, oh my God, I know they're looking at me, and they're like, why did she do that to her hair? Why did she do that? All those tattoos. Like, and I'm like, bitch, you're old, shut up. Like,
I had a funny moment at the airport when I was coming back from Iceland, and there's a stopover in New York, and I don't know what was going on. I was having a bad mood day. I was feeling down, and I also felt like a sore thumb on this plane full of people. I had stayed up all night the night before to get on the plane, and when I got there, I was, understandably tired. And it all started going downhill when someone was like, "Oh, I was like, "I can't wait to go to sleep." And they're like, "But it's 9 a.m." And I was like, "I don't want to talk. I don't want to talk about this." And then I sort of felt like I was sticking out in not a good way because I was wearing a shirt. Actually, you know what? It was this very shirt. So yeah, I think I was meant to wear it today for a reason. So wearing this shirt, I was wearing this, like, very 70s kind of hat that I have that sort of slouches on one side, and. Yeah, thank you. And it was a good look. I have a photo of it somewhere, but I just felt like, okay, I feel like odd man out, not the good way. Then as we were deplaning, the woman at security was taking a long time with my passport, and I was going through clear. And I was like, is everything okay? Because, you get worried international travel. And she's like, oh, yeah, I just wanted to make you hang around here a little bit longer. And she's like, can I give you a hug? And yeah, and it was a full flirty hug, speaking of flirting. And then when I got to the regular security clearance area, that someone said, like, I reminded them of Freddie Mercury, which, I'm not getting carried away. I don't think that I do, but I was like, I mustache, clearly read queer. This is good. I like, and then I was off on my merry way. So sometimes you don't know what people are thinking too.
right. That's exactly true. It's just like, what other people, like, think is not any of your business. At the end of the day, like, it's not your business. They're gonna think what they think, but, like, we don't know, so let's not let it affect us. Let's just, if we feel good and comfortable in our skin, which is already kind of a hard thing to do, but if you wake up and you're like, I'm comfortable with myself, I feel great, and you walk out, somebody's staring, it's nothing to do with you. It's everything to do with their experiences, what's going on in their head, and that's not your problem at the end of the day.
Right. And also you can take it one of two ways. If you're feeling the bad stuff just in your head, be like, yeah, go fuck yourself. You love staring at me.
Period.
Savannah G would like to know, what's the most effective way to stomp out the patriarchy?
Oh, man. Be yourself. Be yourself. I think that's the most effective way. Don't fit yourself into whatever society is telling you have to fit into, whether no matter who you are, whether you're a woman, someone who's feminine, like, or whatever, like you don't need to place yourself in this box that society wants you to sit in because they want to be uncomfortable with themselves.
Yeah.
You know, that's really where it stems from. And I think my way of like stomping on the patriarchy is just not giving a fuck, doing what I want to do, not like saying what I need to say. Like, I'm sure I have a lot of opinions that people are like, what? But it's like, someone had to say it. Somebody's got to say it. Somebody's got to be the one to be like, hey, fuck men, fuck the way we're treated. Like, fuck this, fuck football. What the fuck is that?
Yeah.
First
absolutely.
of all.
Yeah.
And also just fuck all these fake, you know, feminists too, who believe that like you can't be a feminist if you wear pink or if you like show your bodies, because that's just literal jean skirt feminism, as I call it. And if you're comfortable in
it's
yourself,
no good. It's no good.
No, it's not good.
Away.
Stay away. Stay away. Because, I mean, just to kind of get into like maybe, I mean, it's similar. It's very similar, but I think it's very important to be said. This look of who wear, or feminine people who like to show their bodies, and you know, these jean skirt feminists are like, whoa, you're the reason men catcall me. You're the reason, unfortunately, like women are raped, or you're the reason we're sexually assaulted. Like, that is so fucked up in my head, because it's like, oh, you're gonna be like everyone else and you're not gonna blame the man.
Right.
Like
right.
that bothers me to a insanely personal level as well, because it's just like, it's just that whole argument I feel like we've been having forever. Like, it's not what I was wearing. It wasn't what I was wearing's fault for what happened to me.
Right.
But now all these people who are seeing a lot of beautiful feminine people comfortable in their bodies, no matter what we look like, or no matter what we're wearing, and they're getting mad and they're blaming us. And it's like, wow, that is very victim blamey.
And gatekeeping. Yeah.
And gatekeeping. Feminism doesn't have to, like, what? Like, why are you, it's this like whole like white Christian feminist, like cis feminism that people, I don't even think they realize that they're like talking through that lens.
Right.
And so I think the best, like I was saying, like to bring it back to that, the best way is just not giving a fuck. Like, people are going to have their opinions, even if it's the people you wish would have stuck up for you or wish would be on your side. But as long as you know, like, you're not hurting anyone and you're not hurting yourself, because at the end of the day, if anything's happening, it's going to be the man's fault. It's not your fault. Your miniskirt didn't do it. It's the man's fucking fucked up behaviors that did it.
Right.
So being authentically yourself and just fuck it. Like, it's none of your business what other people think of you. Love yourself. Go through that self-love journey and continue it every day.
And step on a man, I think, is the other.
Step on a fucking man. Shut up. They all need to shut the fuck up. I'm done. I can't do it anymore. They're too loud.
We move along to Will Truckle, who writes, my boyfriend only recently came out as gay, and I want to help him make the transition as smoothly as possible. How can I best support him? It's an interesting one, because this can be tricky, too. This is tricky. Yeah, there's different modes sometimes when people come out. It'd be interesting to know what age, too, because that impacts things so much. And also whether or not the family is supportive. Are they a little too conservative? Which is a weird word. Conservative sometimes I feel like is the wrong word. I think shitheads would be a better one. But generally we can't put that in the newspaper. So we'll find the right term for that later on. I
One
guess.
day.
One day. But right now we got to figure out what we should suggest to Will for his boyfriend.
I think first of all, that is a very like kind question to be asking, like how you want to better support your partner, which shows that, to me, it shows that there's a lot of like potential to have just a wonderful relationship. One, like wanting to do what's best for your partner, because you understand that that's a very incredibly difficult thing for some people to do. A lot of people to do. I mean, myself included, coming out. Like, I still haven't even like said anything to my family. So like I get it.
I let them just look at my Instagram posts. I was like, you'll figure it out. I think you had an inkling for a while. So, you can
Yeah.
ask me at Thanksgiving whenever we can see each other in person again. But
Ask me if you want, but I don't. Well, someone in my family told me to change my last name because they don't want to be associated with me anymore. And I said, I am Chrissy Chlapecka, bitch. Shut the fuck up.
Wow. Wow. Someone's
Yeah.
mad.
So,
Yeah.
and I don't know if that stems from homophobia or whatever it is, but
You can,
anyway.
you can never tell, too. Sometimes people get mad at you being a success because they didn't
Yeah.
do the thing they wanted to do in their life, or maybe they felt a kind of way and never pursued it. So it's hard to parse that stuff out. But at the end of the day, who the fuck needs it?
Who cares? That's the same thing I've been saying. Like, it's not any of my business.
Maybe
I wish you could support me, but
maybe that family
goodbye.
member could change their name.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I was like, you first. You do it.
You do it. You're an embarrassment to me and my brand. I don't want you around this. Yeah.
Yeah, period. Don't be complaining about me talking about it when you're spilling shit like that to me, okay? Like, period. But with wanting to be supportive, I think the best thing to give anybody who needs anything, period, is patience, is, being there and listening. And sometimes listening doesn't involve us needing to put in our input or our story. And like, yes, conversation is great like that, but sometimes, especially when you're in such a vulnerable place and it's something like as serious as that could be, I don't obviously know exactly the situation, really just like being that open space to be like, tell me whatever you need to say. I'm going to listen. And if you want, I can, maybe help you feel comfortable with my experience. Like we can bond off with that or whatever it is that you need. I think it's just patience and, letting people feel how they need to feel about it too, but also letting them know that you're there. And I think that's one of the most important things, just knowing you have somebody in your corner no matter what happens, because that is difficult.
Well, and that's the essence of support. I mean, that's the ultimate version of support. They know that you're there for them. And how you think about how you think of people who are really supportive in your life and model maybe some of what you want to do off of that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, my biggest support system is my brother, Kevin. And I model everything I do for others off of the things that they have done for me. So, yeah.
And also sometimes people can get into strange headspaces, particularly when they're coming out. And so sometimes your boyfriend might be a little moody unexpectedly, and that might be related to it. Now, maybe not, but sometimes there can be some things where you might want to take a step back and figure out if it's related to that or not. It might not be. It could just be a bad day at the office or, the latte was screwed up. But it could be.
Right. Just giving them that patience and that time to work that out in their head. Because at the end of the day, you can only do so much too. And as long as you're being an open space for somebody and a loving space for somebody, you're doing what you can.
And you brought up a really good point too. There's only so much you can do. And in any journey like that, it's very much up to the person. So make sure you keep your needs clear and present as well. Because like we talked about before, sometimes it's easy to subsume your needs because you're so concerned about someone else.
Yes. It's a very easy thing to do. So just being conscious of that. And it doesn't mean you don't love them. It just means you love yourself too. And that's important.
Absolutely. You can't have one without the other.
Yes.
And then we move on to OK Kiddo Green or Oh Kiddo Dog Green. We're going to give them a few names. How about that?
Fun. I love it.
Or it's Oh Kiddo Green. And Oki says, Chrissy, how do I get over my ex? It's a year later and I can't stop thinking about him. And then a bunch of sad emojis and a skull emoji. So I guess that gives us a sense of how well it's going.
Man.
It's a tough one.
That's tough.
Over a year. That's a long. But then again, it's this last year. I think that's what I'm guessing.
And
It's hard.
that's harder
Yeah.
because we're stuck. We're not, especially now, I feel like getting over somebody who probably genuinely really fucking cared about is hard because we have so much time to sit and think and like
Yeah.
go over scenarios 5 billion times in their head. And God, am I lucky I don't think a lot because man, would that suck. That's really tough.
The sitting and stewing thinking about an ex is just not what you want to be doing right now. But
It's
there's no way out sometimes.
sometimes, yeah, it's like, what else am I going to do today?
Yeah, I don't have anything else on the calendar, and I guess I got to do
Like,
this.
guess we'll do that again. But that's not healthy. I think we have to recognize that sitting, pondering what if, what could have happened,
Yeah.
etc., really isn't a healthy option. And obviously, without knowing the situation, I don't know if it was a bad relationship or if it was a really great one that just unfortunately had to end. But like, we have to understand that there are certain people that come into our lives at certain times to serve you for a certain period. And unfortunately, the universe just tells us like, okay, like that's all you're gonna get now, and like, or that's like all you guys could do for each other now. And maybe the universe is like, hey, work on yourself, bitch. Like, let's think about ourselves, because a lot of that, like consuming, like not being able to get over something, I think is a lot of just the thought, like constant
Yeah,
spiral
sure.
thoughts, which incredibly hard to stop.
Loops and spirals,
Especially
like we were talking about the other day. Lots of fun.
loops, like my mind constantly, even though I don't really think. It's just always like
Well, you don't have enough energy left because there's all these goddamn loops and spirals happening, right? I can relate
for
to that.
real. Yes. So I don't know. I think what I would do is block this ex per se, like whatever number. If you're still talking, don't stop talking to them. You're
Stop.
never going to get over them if
Hmm.
you continue to speak with them. And that might suck, but you got to do it. Also, like blocking them social media. So not even for them to not see your stuff. Cause I know a lot of people are like, well, I want them to see how good I'm doing. It's like, cool, but block them. Like you don't want to see how good they may be doing,
Right. Or see
you
what they're doing
know?
at all, too, because you can make up stories in
Yeah.
your mind. And when we have all this time to sit around and obsess, it's the worst thing in the world.
And they might not even be doing that great. And it's social media, like nobody knows what's going on behind your fucking screen. Like I post silly TikToks all day and then later I'm sitting up in bed like, what the fuck is life about? Like we don't
Right.
know. We don't know. So, blocking them, stop looking at their social media, stop giving them that energy, thanking the universe or whatever for the time you spent. And if it taught you things, that's fucking awesome. And apply that to whatever you want to do it, whether it's a new relationship, friendship, new home, like whatever it is, like just
A
giving a new
hobby, anything.
energy. Yeah, giving that energy and putting that energy into something else, I guess.
Right.
But it's
Like
hard.
making a TikTok or trying to
Yeah.
figure out working on music, something, anything.
Yeah, exactly. And it's not overnight, especially if it seems like if it's been going on for a while, but you're gonna be okay. You're gonna get over it. Time heals everything too at the end of the day. Just might take a little more time.
Very true. And yeah, people are plucked out of your life for a reason, usually, even though it's very hard to see it in the moment.
Yes. Yes. In the moment you're gonna be like, what the fuck happened? But I promise, a year later or two, sorry, maybe 2 years.
Yeah, a year and a couple months, something like
Yeah,
that. Yeah.
maybe tomorrow you're gonna be like, oh, that was why.
30 minutes after hearing this, you're going to see a sign.
Babe, you're gonna be fine. I promise. I
Yeah,
swear. Chrissy Chlapecka swears.
that's right. Yep. I'm with that as well. We can have terrible obsessive thoughts about people once we leave, even if it's been a bad relationship, which sometimes makes it even worse. So if it's the kind of thing where it is a bad relationship and you're beating yourself up about certain aspects or not leaving soon enough, just let yourself off the hook. I have to imagine that, especially in this last year, if it's a matter of also not having sex, that would compound the whole thing quite a bit.
Yeah, fuck. That's hard.
It's, yeah, very difficult. Very
Oh
difficult.
man, I get that. I mean, yeah, I don't know how to help you there, babe. That's hard.
Well, we'll all be vaccinated soon. And they say that vaccinated people can hang out with other vaccinated people in private
Yes.
situations. So I'm looking very much
Yes.
forward to vaccination and private situations. Yes.
Soon. I know that if you call vaccination centers, because there's sometimes they'll have leftovers or
All right.
someone won't come. If you call like an hour or two, everyone listen to this. It's so important. You call an hour or two before they close, they might have extra slots. You got to be ready within that hour to go, but
Yeah.
it's worth it. That's what I'm currently doing because I don't work at a food service job anymore, so I don't have a way necessarily to get it yet.
Right.
But if somebody, didn't show up or they have extras, because they will throw those out. They're not going to go give them to other people.
Right. They have to almost, right? Because of the refrigeration and everything. Yeah.
Yeah, they'll go bad. So it is important to do it, and so we don't have to keep throwing them out.
You see, you thought you'd just get one kind of advice or a bunch of different kinds of advice. You're getting all kinds of advice on this show.
Say, guys, I can do things. Look at me.
And I think we know that. That's why everyone's tuned in.
Hey.
Now, this next one is kind of similar. It's from Joe Paramall, who writes, "What can I do to let a long relationship go?" Now, before we answer, I want to say there's two ways I think this can be answered, because I'm not sure if the relationship has been ended yet, or if it's over and they're still in the same position as our friend Oki.
Oh, boy.
I know. Intrigue, mystery.
What do we...
Let's take the first one and go with that.
Okay.
It's still going on, but they want to get away from it.
That's hard. I've been there. Definitely. Definitely have been there. That's
sometimes
really
it feels
difficult.
like, oh, I've been in it so long, I guess I have to stay in it. I was in something like that. I was with someone for 14 years.
Wow.
Don't recommend it. Usually, it's way too long. It shocks me to this day that it's that long.
Oh boy, that's that's hard because you're like, I've spent so much of my life with this person. I gave this person so much of my time. How am I supposed to do life without giving this person my time?
Right. Well, and also you don't even know any different anymore. After a while, this is just what you do in life. It doesn't matter if there's bed death, which might have happened, and it doesn't matter if this happens. You just sort of get used to stuff. It's kind of like the frog in the frying pan with the yeah.
But I guess my question is do we want to be in that comfortable space all the time? Do we not want to grow and change? And that's what I had to ask myself. I was like, no, I don't want to do this forever. I don't want to be bored like this or treated like this forever. There's and it's hard because you have to unlearn how to be with something and how to just be with yourself, and that is so uncomfortable at first. But you have to accept that it's going to be uncomfortable, I think.
The longer you're in the relationship too, it takes a little bit longer to get out of it. So also give yourself some time. So for instance, with my 14-year thing, it definitely took about a year to acclimate to the other side. But also try to have little flings that aren't too serious. That is very key, especially if, as we don't know the answer to this, if the sex wasn't so good either the entire time or towards the end, once you start having some better sex with other people, because guaranteed you will, you won't be so broken up about it.
Yes, be a whore. It's fine.
Yes, that's right.
It's fine. It's what got me over mine. I'm just going to say it. That's what helps.
I think we both took the same course of action after our
I think so. I was like, yep, I'm just going to do this. And, if you're in a spot where you feel you can do that and you're not going to, be uncomfortable with it or do it, that's what helped me. You are desirable by so many other people that you don't even realize or know yet. And you can't be so, or if it's that mindset, this is the only person who's going to love me. Bullshit.
Yep.
They're not the only person. There are so many people in this world who are going to love you even better than that person did before.
Absolutely. And if you're even
And
asking, how can I let a long relationship go? It wasn't the right one for you because you want to get out of it. You either want to get out of it or you're out of it and you're still pining for the person. So again, if it is the second option, just know that you're going to meet another person someday and it's all going to work out
yes,
wonderfully.
but meet yourself first.
Yeah, that's right. Meet
Yeah,
yourself first.
meet yourself first.
You enjoying this? You having a good time?
I love it. I'm having so much fun.
Okay, good. You're amazing at this, by the way, too. So
Thank you.
you're
I do
welcome.
have things to say. I'm smart sometimes. I blow myself away. I'm like, oh, that was good. That was good, Chrissy.
Really, really good. You're a secret thinker. That's what it is, right? You don't want to let on that you think, but like it's cool. I'm not going to blow your cover. All right,
I'm
don't.
gonna scare people with it.
Wait, she thinks
I
too.
know so much. She thinks.
Oh my
Look
God!
at this bitch.
God damn it! No, she sings and thinks. Oh, we're doomed.
So many
Yeah.
hits. We're doomed. The world's ending. Sorry.
So we move along to Edie Coronado, who writes, sometimes being insecure can make you jealous and maybe even hateful towards others who might seem prettier or better than you. My question is, do you have any tips on how to let go of your insecurities and stop comparing to others? Now, this is definitely a very tricky one, and there's a lot of suggestions I feel that we both have. What do you think?
Yeah. I think that is so tricky because I've totally been there. Just, yeah, that where you really are possibly jealous or really just like want to look like this person or be like this person. You're like, how do you do that? It can so easily turn into hate. Like, fuck you for that. You're so awesome. Fuck you. Like, and that, I mean, just, I feel like also, growing up, like, as a girl too, I think a lot of women or really anyone too, though. I think anybody has that like mindset of like, we're always just all put against each other.
True.
And I think what had really gotten me out of that phase of being jealous, and also, it doesn't help when it's like situational things. Like if you're in a relationship, you're constantly getting cheated on, or like your friends are treating you like shit, and you're like, fuck, what is it about me that sucks? So I'm going to project how I feel about that onto somebody else and blame them. And it's hard, and it's hard to catch yourself doing that. And like, I've done that a million trillion times because of like the way I viewed myself and the way I had like little self-worth so many times in my life. But I think what really, when, you realize that and you're like, how do I fix this? Understanding that like, there are going to be a lot of people out there who are going to be doing different things than you, who are skilled in different ways than you are, and who look different or, have different people surrounding them, and accepting that, like, that's okay. Like, we are different, like, accepting that difference. Like, that's really awesome. You have this. Let me think about what I have that's really awesome too.
Right.
How can I utilize that and make that work for me, because we're all wonderfully amazing human beings. We all are different. We all have different thoughts and like different behaviors and different experiences that we can all speak on that someone else can't say,
Right.
And I think it's just important to recognize that, and also just being happy if it's people in your life who are achieving something, like being happy for them, because a lot of times their success can benefit you and help you.
Especially if you're enthusiastically supportive.
Yes. Their success will benefit you. And it's not like, don't use that person for that, but like, be authentic, because I think those people can 100% tell when you're not. I mean, that's something that happened to me in one of my old friendships. It just like, I started to gain success and she started to get very, very fucking mad at me. And I got to a point where I was like, this is not cool. Like, if the roles were reversed, I would have been happy for you. But your sly comments and jokes about why I shouldn't have what I have because of my mental health or etc. don't fly with me. So I had to cut that off. And, you know, it's a hard thing, jealousy, but it's something we have to unlearn by ourselves because no one's going to really do that for you.
It's a really hard thing to manage as well if you're in a position that might be financially stressful or emotionally taxing. Again, this last year is a good example of that overall, but in smaller boxes, if you're having some kind of financial pressure and someone else is doing really well, sort of doing similar things to you or something like that, you definitely have to separate those feelings out. And the best way to use jealousy is to look at it and go, okay, why am I feeling like this? What is it about this situation or that person that is triggering this in me? And then from there, see how you can improve yourself. And when I say improve yourself, I don't mean that you need to be improved, but improve the way that you look at the situation and see what you can take information-wise from their success and how you can apply it to your own. And then also sometimes look at it and go, wait a second, is that what I even want, what they have? And the key thing is to remember that someone else having success does not mean that something has been taken from you or has been now you, or means that you're now prevented from having your own success. And that's why I think the enthusiastic support is so important, because energetically, the more that you're happy for other people, the happier as a person you will be.
Yes, that's putting negativity out there is so tiring. Like constantly feeling hatred or anger or jealous. And it's hard sometimes, especially due to a situation. There's multiple situations where I'm like, fuck this person, but do I want to fixate on it?
Yeah.
No, because I'm going to get tired and it's not going to help me. It's just going to hurt me.
Yeah, because the more you obsess about the negative thing and also in your mind paint a picture where you are less than, well, then you're going to make that happen. I mean, for anyone who believes in manifestation, I happen to, I believe Chrissy does as well.
Yes.
The more you fixate on something, the more you make it real in your life. So while it can be difficult, really try to flip that and be happy for the people maybe that you're feeling jealous of. And also, I want to address the issue of people being better than you. Edie, we haven't met, but I have a feeling about this. Nobody's better than you.
No.
Okay? Nobody's better than you. So just try to remember that. And it can be difficult, especially when you're obsessing, you're having the loops and spirals. I had a loop and spiral the other night. Tried everything I could. I went to the fucking bakery, got a bunch of stuff. It didn't quite work. Watched some movies. Each one was a stinker, but not the kind of stinker I like. I love terrible movies. It didn't work out. I eventually just had to put myself to bed. So some days it's a losing battle, but the next day it was a new morning and we started again.
Accept the defeat some days. Defeat doesn't make you weak or less than or anything, but you have the opportunity the next day or the next few days to bounce back from it. I think a lot of things is like fixation. Like we are allowed to give ourselves space to feel just to feel. We're allowed to give ourselves space to feel. Yeah. But when we give ourselves way too much space for a way too long period of time, we're only hurting ourselves.
That's right. It's the kind of self-indulgence that's actually the most dangerous. Some people think like maybe using substances or watching TV is an indulgence. It's not really. But that's self-indulgence. When self-indulgence becomes self-pity, you really are in a dangerous spot. And the only one who can get you out of that is you.
Yes. Yes.
So let's see. And one last note. As far as how to get rid of your insecurities or to let go of them, I think letting go or releasing them is the only thing you can do because the secret is you never really get rid of them. They're they might get small. You might shrink them down for a while, and then out of the blue one day they come around and just knock you out.
Yeah, and it hurts. It hurts like a fucking bitch. But it's gonna happen. But be ready for it. Like accept it when it happens. Be like, shit, I'm feeling this today, but I don't suck. It's just, it's something that I'm going to work on still. And also figuring out what situations maybe trigger that. Yes. And maybe situations you should step away from. And
people as well, because there's certain people are sort of low key negative about
evil.
Yes, thank you. That's the word I was looking for. That's why I paused. See? Chrissy, thank you. Thank you for that. Low-key evil. There really are people who are low-key evil, and you don't want to see it sometimes. That's the other thing. And speaking as the both codependents on this show right now, I'd like to mention that sometimes you overlook that stuff and you go, they didn't really mean it like that. No, guess what? They might mean it
They
like
did.
that. Yeah, they did.
If you ever have to be like, they didn't mean it like that, they did.
They fucking well did.
They
Yeah.
fucking did. They wanted you to think that. So take it as it is. Sometimes you do have to take things right as they are.
Back to what you were saying about people being jealous of you and how you felt about that when they were starting to lay some shitty comments on you. I've had that too. And I remember in particular a person who is very well off. I can't remember what they do for work, but it's like not necessarily exciting, or at least that's what they kept saying, which is weird because I'm like, you're doing well, that's great. And then they were kind of like really negative about what I was doing and kind of trying to minimize it and dismiss it. And I remember thinking, oh, you're out of here. That's it. I think I have a zero tolerance policy for that now. Not that I always did.
Good.
But that kind of shit, nope.
As you should, because it's your life, your success, what you created yourself with your art. And if people want to shit on it, goodbye. Like and it's always the people who are well off too, bitch. Oh my God. It's always the people who have, I have so much to say. It's always the people who are rich motherfuckers who grew up without a worry in the world, without an illness in sight. And the minute that, like, for me, for example, like, I just did not grow up great. Like, I didn't have money. Like, there's a lot of shit that happened in my house. Like, I basically braced myself. Okay. And I just have this habit of becoming friends with people who are so well off financially, which is fine, okay? But don't shove that in my face. And also, like, who just, like, have never experienced, like, real life things, And it's always them who have some shit to say about where I am now or how I want to grow. And it's like, oh, how dare I do this all by myself? How dare I developed into a real person through all my experiences rather than like asking mommy and daddy to put a goddamn Band-Aid on my knee every time I needed it. Bitch, I'm 20. Like, I know that's young, but that's old. Like, I was 20 when I was 12. So, like, so fuck off.
That's a good song lyric, by the way. So we're going to note that, put it aside for later. I'm
going to make a song.
Yeah, so I was 20 when I was 12. That's great.
Yes, 2012.
Yeah.
Wasn't the world supposed to end?
I think so. 2012, and then a few weeks ago or something.
Something like that.
So you're going to make a trilogy. It's great.
Perfect.
The way you express that, too, is so perfect because when they say the mommy and daddy did stuff for them, and it's great, anyone who has a resource to use, wonderful. But then when those same people are resentful of people who did it on their own, made their own thing happen, it's so gross because to me it speaks to this feeling that they have that they are never going to be able to do what you did. And they know that. And they're just going to try to take it out on you. And usually that's a big, huge red flag. It's actually like a parade of red flags to just keep them away from you. Yes.
It's like, what's that word? Projecting. It's projecting.
Absolutely.
And it's nothing to do with me. It's nothing to do with you. Mm-hmm. It's everything to do with how they feel about themselves inside. And I'm sorry you feel that way, but you can call a therapist and your parents will pay for it.
Exactly. And with those low-key evil people in your life, try to remember that they have to be them the rest of their lives.
Yeah, sucks.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. You're in a much better position. So then we move on to, well, damn it, Shan. Oh, great
I like
name.
that.
Me too, right? It's got a pop to it. And, well, damn it, Shan wants to know, how can I get a better handle on anxiety? We know a thing or two about this, so let's get into it. What do you think?
Oh, man, girl. How to get a better hand on anxiety?
Because there's a couple different things. Like, there's no curing it, generally.
No.
It's just, how do you manage?
That is tough. I think especially it's harder for me to have a great answer right now because that's something I have been struggling with so much lately.
But that's why it's even better for you to answer that right now.
Yeah, I mean, because I get it. I understand it. Like, oh my God, like I was literally in the ER like a month. I texted you, I think. I was
Yeah,
like
right,
in the
right.
ER because I had such a bad panic attack, and it really, felt like it came from out of nowhere. And like ever since then too, it's just like been a lot of feeling that and really like being like, okay, I'm either gonna have a full ass panic attack right now, or I'm gonna have to talk myself down. And I think it's learning with yourself the best way to talk to yourself
Mm,
in those moments, because people can help, and God bless those people who help you as a woman.
yeah.
But and are there for you and are understanding in those moments. But it's your head that is spiraling. So you need
Only you have the
to.
key, really, in the
You
end.
really do, and like you can feel, and it feels so out of control. But I think really talking to yourself and being your own friend in those moments is really important, because that is how I have been talking myself down a lot recently. It's just like, okay, we're okay. Like what? And like lately, whenever I'm in a car, I start to freak out. Like I start to have a really bad panic attack, because that's where that huge panic attack I had happened. I like
Oh,
just randomly had it
yeah,
in the car.
yeah.
And ever since then, every time I am in a car, I am like, okay, we're in a car. Nothing's happening. Like, I'm okay.
Yeah.
Like, hypothetically, if I have another panic attack, after that panic attack, I will be fine. And I think even realizing that, like, say I freak out, say this happens tomorrow, I'm gonna be okay. I'm gonna recover from it, but I'm gonna be fine. I'm not gonna feel like this forever. This feeling doesn't stay forever. It ends at some point.
Right. And just knowing that absolutely helps, especially when, as you said, when you have that moment where you're like, okay, I'm starting to feel the short breathing happening, the shallow breathing. I'm at the
Yeah.
top of the staircase and I'm about to slide down the whole thing or fall down ass over tea kettle. And I didn't make it. I didn't save myself. That is the terrible feeling, but then just try to go with it. And whatever you can
Mm-hmm.
do to make it feel better, like you said, talking to yourself. We both use we, which I love. We're going to be fine. We're going to be fine. And sometimes I say sweetheart into the mirror. I'm like, hey,
Yes.
sweetheart, it's fine. It's okay. We're going to be okay. This is going to end. And all the thoughts you're having, those loops and spirals, they're not real. And we're going to put those away. And that's not the case. Sometimes I put on music really loud and dance around. Or
Yes.
when you give in or there's no other alternative but to be on the couch and I'm going to get some Chinese food and maybe drugs, whatever. I'm not saying this or that, right? Could be CBD, could be aspirin. Don't assume
Whatever you
things.
need.
Yeah, don't assume things about what I'm saying. And exactly, and then just ride it out, and eventually you'll be able to go to sleep. I have also gone to sleep fully clothed before because I had to trick myself into going to bed. Because if I didn't, if I actually got ready for bed, the anxiety would kick up a notch, and then I'd be laying there in the dark, blind, without my lenses, and really freaking out. So,
Yes.
yeah.
I have had to do that too. Like I had to convince myself I wasn't going to bed. So I've like slept not great for my skin, but totally slept like full makeup, like hoops and everything. But I needed
Camera
it.
ready.
Like
Camera ready.
I was camera ready. Was I camera ready when I woke up? No. I looked horrible. But but it
But it
helped
worked.
me in the moments, and
Yeah.
that is what is the most important. Just taking care of yourself, like kind of mothering yourself. I
Yeah.
like to think of my like little inner child, like little Chrissy. Like she needs a hug right now. Let's go give her a hug. What's a hug right now? Maybe a hug is getting a cookie. Like I'm still a kid. I want a
Yeah.
cookie, or like smoking a ball. Like
Exactly. No, exactly.
whatever works.
Whatever works and whatever works is okay. So I think that's something to keep in mind too. And also, people beat themselves up sometimes if they can't snap back from something immediately. And then there's sometimes the guilt and shame of calling a friend because you don't want to be burdening them with something. But don't worry
Mhm.
about that so much. Just reach out. And if they're a shitty person, you'll find that out pretty quick because generally the people that you call during this time should be your core people, your foxhole friends, as I heard someone say.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And also if they don't have the space to maybe respond in that moment, they'll still be there for you later.
Definitely.
and supporting later. Because sometimes they could be going through the same thing and like are like, I love you. I just don't have, and if they communicate, that's what's important. Like communicating, I love you so much. Right now, I don't have the like mental capacity, or like I'm not in the best place to help right now for my mental health. And like we have to respect that too of other people, because sometimes they're probably going through the same thing.
That's another good tip as well, because sometimes communications can really break down recently, and you might
Yeah.
wonder what's going on, especially if your anxiety is the kind that I suffer from sometimes, where you're creating stories in your head as to why something else is happening.
Yes.
It's
Yes.
best to just try to remove yourself from that whole thing and just focus on the cookies, smoking a bowl, and maybe a movie.
Yes. A movie.
Now, this is going to be an interesting one to pronounce. Let's see if I can get through this one. I'm going to say it out slowly first. OobaGoobaDoo. Okay. OobaGoobaDoo. There we go.
Yes.
Yes, we did it. OobaGoobaDoo writes, how the hell do I get a girlfriend? I never know when a girl is attracted to girls, and I feel like it's made it hard for me to develop romantic feelings towards another girl because I automatically think every girl is straight and therefore not interested. See, this is a common
Ay,
theme, this
yes.
issue. Yeah.
That is so hard because it's like, are you just being really nice to me, or do you like me? Like, it is hard. I think, yeah. Oh man.
Well, you know what? What about this whole thing of, do you ask someone on a date? Do you ask someone to come over and watch a movie and then sort of feel it out? There's so many different ways to approach this whole thing, and particularly now when we're not going to be out and around people in general for a long
Yeah.
time. We shouldn't be anyway, and if we are, we're wearing a mask, right, everyone? Right, kids?
You better be.
Let's not make it. Let's take it away from being goal specific in terms of getting a girlfriend, and
Mm,
make it more about getting over that threshold, that barrier of, are they attracted to girls? Maybe let's see.
right.
Yeah, ask them who their favorite singers are. Try to figure it out that way. No, that doesn't help. I don't know. I'm hitting a wall with this one. You go.
I know. I'm like, maybe. Well, I think it's important. Like, if your main goal is to just find a girlfriend or boyfriend to fill that space, you're probably doing it wrong
Yes,
yourself.
that's exactly what I
Because,
was. Yeah,
yeah, because like that, you're not really giving those people that opportunity to see where a relationship could go, whether it's platonic, whether it's a like romantic relationship, whatever it may be. Like, yes, we kind of all want to fill that void, but like every time we talk to someone, we can't have it with the lens of like, are you my perfect girlfriend? Like,
are you the
what
one?
are you the one? And again, it comes back to the like, am I, oh,
Everyone's
dog.
got a lot of thoughts on this matter. Listen, and they want to be
Yeah,
heard.
yeah, yeah, he wants to be heard. But yeah, it just like that whole thing again of like, am I worried about what you think of me, or am I worried about what I think of you? So I know, I know it's hard with girls though. Listen, I go through the same thing, and it's like I don't, unless you both are flat out like, here's my intention. It's very hard to know. I think I also though go through the world, maybe because the people I surround myself with, thinking everybody's at least bi, but it's hard depending on like where you're from. Like I'm
Yeah,
from a very like queer community in Chicago, so like that's what I know. But
right.
really depends. If you're in like butt fuck nowhere, Iowa, I don't know, babe.
Yeah, it's tough. That's the thing. Like earlier, we were talking about whether someone's in a conservative situation or a more liberal, or as we like to say, correctly minded situation, like we are. It can be very difficult, and it also depends on how much exposure you've had to other queer people,
Yes,
and
that
how much you
too.
continue to have as well. Maybe if you're, and a lot of people are searching for a girlfriend, boyfriend, partner, whatever. So maybe on the dating apps, you can select things that are saying, I'm looking for a long-term relationship. I'm looking for something serious. So if that's the kind of thing that you're really after, not just maybe some fun or see where this goes with someone. That might be an option. But
Yeah.
I generally tend to agree with, I don't think that approach is, maybe the goal-oriented approach is the best, because I think sometimes people end up in relationships that aren't serving them because they feel like they have to have a boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever.
Yes. Yes, they don't. They're like, I need this. You seem like you fit it, so be it. And it's like, okay. Sometimes that could work totally, but like sometimes like you're just filling a void for a second, and then that void is too familiar, and you're like, okay, this isn't really what I wanted.
And maybe also look at some other girls in other areas that you, rather than the girls that you've been interacting with, check out some other pools of ladies. Like,
Yes.
yeah, like on TikTok, maybe see if there's any local folks who are posting queer content, or another app suggestion. Check out for people near you who are looking for similar things, whether it's a girlfriend or whether it's someone who's just interested in girls and is a girl. And if you like girls, then there you go.
Perfect. See, it all works out somehow.
And hopefully that was helpful. Wait, let's see if I can do it again. OobaGoobaDoo, I hope that we've answered your question sufficiently.
I love you, OobaGoobaDoo.
I think we all love OobaGoobaDoo.
How could you not love OobaGoobaDoo?
How could you not? So you know what? You got very little to worry about OobaGoobaDoo. You go out there and they're going to go OobaGoobaDoo and flip out over you. So.
Oh yeah, they'll love you, babe. Don't even worry.
Then we move along to Marlon Acid, another great name. I don't know if that's your given name or just your interest, but I like it either way. And Marlon would like to know, how can someone gain confidence?
Oh.
It's an interesting one. And
Well.
I think, yes, go ahead.
Oh, wow. I think the best, it's hard. I think that's a really difficult question because confidence, I feel like, is also subjective to the person and what makes them confident, you know?
Mm-hmm. And you can also shift a little bit sometimes. You might be going through something hard. Your confidence takes a little bit of a hit. And then sometimes you have to rebuild the confidence, which can be sometimes just as difficult as gaining it in the first place.
Yes. So yeah, it's like confidence or like self-love is very up, down, side to side. It's never like shooting for the stars every single day. Like it's never just that. You can feel on like a confident high sometimes, you know, situational, like are you doing something that like you love and you feel so great about it? Like are you in like an outfit you love and you feel beautiful? But it's very on and off. And I guess like the advice I tend to always give for that is like really working on the self-love journey, whatever that may be for you, because I think in order to have confidence, you have to like yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Like
absolutely,
in some way or form. And like that sounds really like that's your answer. Like I have to like myself. I don't. It's like,
I listened to the fucking show and all she said was you got to like yourself. I can get that anywhere. What the fuck?
Yeah, what the fuck, Chrissy? You're nothing like I thought you were.
Fraud.
Delete. Cancel. We're done with her. But I think just like really working on like what your self-love journey is and what that is, and like I think a lot of that is accepting our flaws. I think accepting our flaws has a lot to do with confidence, because we have to accept things about ourselves that maybe we don't really love right away. And if there's something we could work on, let's work on it, especially if it's internal. But,
and there's also ways. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, no, I was just like, but, period. Like, it really is just finding those ways to love and accept yourself and, like, being unapologetic about it.
Sometimes the things that we need to embrace, we don't even realize they're the things we need to embrace. Like, for instance, the ADHD. You were posting about that earlier today and yesterday. And, I quote unquote, enjoy ADHD as well, because I like to not say suffer from it, but
Yes.
I have it. It's part of my makeup kit, and it's liberally applied all over me all the time. And the thing is that I'm just differently wired than other people, and I accept that. I can't find my way out of a paper bag with directions. I need to be strictly glued to Google Maps in order to walk around a neighborhood I've lived in for 5 years. That's fine. I can do other stuff, you know?
Yes.
You're not maybe great at math, like you like to say, right? So,
No.
but who cares? You're great at so many other things.
Who cares? Yeah, it's like that's so funny. Enjoying ADHD. I've never thought of it that way because I do love it. Like I love that that's part of who I am. I think it very much makes me who I am. Some days are harder than others with my ADHD. Like I'll be sitting in my room for 4 hours, just like staring like at a wall, or even like I do this thing where I'm like, oh, I have so much to do today, so I'm gonna start doing it. And I'm forgetting what I'm doing. Then I have another thing I have to do. And then I do another thing, then do another thing, and never finish anything I was supposed to do, but started everything.
Yeah.
And like, and it's like, okay, maybe that's not the most effective way to get shit done, but I do eventually. It just
Right.
takes time.
And also,
And I have
Go
to
ahead.
love myself about, like, I have to accept that and love myself for that.
And I like to think of the things that I'm good at and figure out how there's things in there that are influenced by ADHD, right?
Yes.
The hyperfocus. There's a lot of really strong benefits to ADHD, but they're often overlooked because there's so many drawbacks to a quote unquote regular life or a typical way of being.
Yes.
Maybe we don't necessarily need to tick those boxes the way that other people do because they can't do some of the stuff that we do.
True. They're not as cool as us.
No, they wish. They wish they could have ADHD. They'll never
Yeah.
get there. Yeah.
Losers. I bet you did well in school.
I bet you started a task and finished it all the way through to the end, walked it through and finished it.
And I bet that felt good. Will I know that? Never.
But then again, if you think about the thoughts that you put together in some of your TikToks, right? And your art and how you present things. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think that David Bowie had ADHD. It's just my guess. He was very fond of stimulants. And I think that, pulling disparate elements together and shaping it into a new form is something that is helped by ADHD, or rather is an example of something that can be done with ADHD. Yeah.
I mean, creatives with ADHD are like the coolest people, I think.
That's the thing. We're not trying to boast, but, we had to let you in on that. Yeah.
Yeah, sorry. I mean.
Now, do you take medication for ADHD?
Oh man, I'm like still on my journey with that. Like I started with Adderall and that made me way too anxious. And then I started with something else. I can't remember what it was, and that didn't work.
It was OobaGoobaDoo, that stuff? Yeah.
OobaGoobaDoo, that. Not great, sorry. And then like I did like an XR, like a extended release one, and it didn't do anything. I don't know. Nothing works in my head.
I was going to ask you about the Adderall because sometimes they can give you the instant release stuff and it makes you crazy. Whereas the extended release Adderall, and it is way smoother. Or if you have the IR and they don't tell you to do this, you break it into little pieces. So that sometimes helps. And also the dosage is important too. And it's very tricky because if they give you too much at the beginning, you're like, I'm losing my mind. I can't take this. And it's very tricky. But and we could talk more offline about this because I've had over 20 years of
that'd be a great conversation.
Lots of stuff and plenty of things to talk about with that.
We love it.
So then we move along to Froggy with Love, who writes, dealing with your internalized male gaze. So I think I'm going to take that to be, how do you deal with your internalized male gaze? Or what do we suggest to do to deal with the internalized male gaze?
I think like I touched on this earlier, like how a lot of us are, or maybe I didn't. I don't think I did. I think just like.
Touch again, even if you did. If
I didn't, yeah. Like how. Oh yeah, I didn't, but I was thinking about this because I read that comment and was like, oh, yeah, that is difficult, especially like growing up. I feel like a lot of people see their self-worth through the eyes of a man. Like it was taught, so it's not necessarily our fault that being with a man, being accepted by a man, like being a man something, like being his wife or his like girlfriend or like the mother of a child, like being
Hmm.
a something is the goal. And I think that's a very hard thought process to get out of because that is so ingrained in our society, and the way everything functions is like everything is for the man. We are for the man. We are not ourselves. Um, and I think that's a very fucking difficult thing to unlearn.
Mm.
But we have the potential to unlearn that, you know? And I know a lot of people, and I totally, same here, struggled with like definitely like wanting to dress the way that like men would like before I really have blossomed into who I am today, like in high school, especially, you know, trying to do like the natural makeup looks that men like because they don't like too much makeup. But if you don't wear makeup,
Yeah.
you're ugly. But if you do wear makeup, you're a cake face. And like that one TikTok I made, it's just like
Yeah.
you kind of never can win. And so I think like how I really got out of that, like internalized male gaze, was realizing I don't want to be a something to some man. Like I don't want to be just his girlfriend or just his wife or just, you know, the mother of his kids. Like I don't want that. I don't want to work for a man. I don't want to be under a man in any way. Like
Yeah.
I want to be fully myself and doing everything that my femininity allows me to do as like a fucking awesome woman. And I think that's really hard because it's unlearning. It's unlearning that thing that so many women and other people have just been like told, like the man is superior. And I don't think the way, if you are dressing in a way that makes you happy, then you are not dressing for the man. You are not dressing for the internalized male gaze. You're dressing for yourself. And I know lots of people have lots of opinions about the way feminine people like to dress, saying like, well, isn't that for the internalized misogynistic male gaze? And it's like, no, bitch, I feel so comfortable when I wear this. Like I feel, if I'm in a hoodie, I don't feel comfortable. And it's not, it has nothing to do with what men think of me. Like if men, it's just like I think about it, like if men really wanted, I wanted just for men, like I would keep my hair blonde, I wouldn't wear as much makeup, I wouldn't do, like if I seriously was going to do that, maybe that's what I would have done.
Hmm.
Not to say a blonde person who doesn't wear makeup is doing that for men either, but
Right.
like I wouldn't be showing my body because don't you want your woman pure? Like don't you want like, you know, you don't want her to look like a slut. Like so yeah, I guess that battle's hard and that's something unlearned, but it also comes with becoming comfortable with yourself and loving yourself and accepting like that you don't need to be anything to anybody but yourself
And
at
I
the
think
end of the
also to
day.
not limit yourself in what you wear because you think that it might fit within this or also represent the reverse of that. You know what I mean? Because sometimes
Yes.
the opposite thing, like you said, all the opinions that you get thrown at you about the way you dress and all of that stuff. Well, that's not going to stop you from dressing the way that you want because it's not
Yeah.
based on that. It's based on what you want to do.
If that, yeah, if those comments seriously scared me, I would have changed, you know, like, and it's also, yeah, it just kind of, what was I saying? Hey, ADHD. Um,
We were too nice
but
about it. And now it's going to come and fuck us over. Just like our
exactly, I was
insecurities are,
doing so good.
and my insecurities are waiting for me behind the blue light over there. So I'm going to
Yeah,
try to
she
just stay over here. Yeah.
right behind me. Yeah, she's right there. She's
Oh, I
the
saw.
shadow on the
Yeah,
wall.
I just saw them. I didn't want to say anything. I didn't want
No, no.
to. Okay, never mind. They'll make their appearance known later. It's okay.
Yeah, it's okay. Um, but yeah, I guess it's not just realizing what you do doesn't have to be for a man, and if a man likes it, okay, but like you're not doing it for him. You're doing it for yourself. And I think a lot of people get confused by that. And I think it's a lot of our internalized misogyny towards each other, like women or femme people or anybody just saying like, well, like you can't do that. Like
Hmm.
you're doing this wrong, you're doing that wrong. And it's like, well, I don't think support, that's how you support somebody. And like I said earlier, like if a man does something because and you're going to blame it on the way I dress, it's because you are a victim blaming piece of shit. And it's not me. It's that you still cannot hold men accountable like we should be holding men accountable.
Right.
And that's not my fault. But if you're not helping by blaming it on me, you know.
And I think internalized anything, as long as you're thinking about it, if you feel that you are suffering from it, thinking about it and trying to work your way out of that is the best thing you can do. And it's really all anyone can ask, because everyone has internalized something from society.
Yes. And like, yeah, you can't, nobody's perfect with it. I definitely have my struggles in so many other areas, but I just think it's shit when people blame other people for stuff that men do, or abuse that people go through, or whatever. If you're going to blame the victim, I just think that's a real piece of shit move. And I really was unfortunate. Like, it was unfortunate to see so many people possibly saying that about me, when it was like, oh, anything that happened to me wasn't because I wore a miniskirt, and the things that did happen to me, I wasn't wearing a miniskirt. So fuck off.
Then even having to spell that out must be infuriating.
And it's like, I knew that wasn't my responsibility to have to spell that out, but I know so many people who have similar stories to me, like, will be blamed for that. And like, recognizing my platform and my influence on people, like, I don't owe them anything, and I know that, but I want to help other people.
Sure.
And so I owe that to other women, or other femme people, or anybody who has been negatively affected in that way, which sucks. And you shouldn't have to explain yourself, but unfortunately people are shit.
A lot of those evil motherfuckers out there.
Yeah, fuck them, bitches.
Mm-hmm. Listen, we're gonna send OobaGoobaDoo over to take care of you.
Yeah, come on, OobaGoobaDoo.
Come through, OobaGoobaDoo. We move along to Coffin Kitty, who writes, how would you feel if you got some of these comments like I've gotten before, like, you're so much prettier when you allow yourself to be natural and accept yourself, instead of like adding the glitter and flair and colors and all this extra fun stuff that I like and you clearly do as well?
So people being like, oh, why don't wear all that glitter, don't wear all that makeup. Oh God. Oh, the most boring people in the world.
Yeah.
I've just like been around, I guess, so many men who have been like, oh, but Chrissy, you're so much prettier, like, without all that blue shit on your face. And it's like, fuck off. Like,
yeah,
that's the thing, I'm not doing it for you. At the end of the day, kind of like what we were saying similarly, like before, like, you're wearing all this glitter and makeup and sparkles and things that make you happy because it makes you happy. And if they're saying like, oh, but you look better this way, it's like, I look great in any way that I'm comfortable.
Right.
I don't care what you think. If I feel great without it, I feel great without it. If I feel great with it, I feel great with it. And that has everything to do with me and nothing to do with you.
Right. And also, people often will say stuff like that just to undermine you.
Yes.
They're not really giving you helpful advice. You know what I mean? So just more evil motherfuckers, once again.
Yes, they're planting that seed of doubt in yourself, and like that, unfortunately, is what a lot of people want to do. Like, there's not a lot of like great people in the world, which is like really sad to say. Like, a lot of people fucking suck, and like a lot of people will say those things just to plant a seed of self-doubt in your mind. And I think really we just have to take it and be like, okay, well, it's not about you. And like, that is all you have to say. That's all the thinking you have, thought process, or anything you have to put into it, because it's not about them. Like, their opinion isn't any of your business. And also, like,
they're irrelevant.
They're fucking irrelevant. Like, they probably want to put glitter and sparkles and makeup on their face. And they're just mad that they can't.
Absolutely.
Can't, quote unquote. They can, but they feel as if they can't.
Right, exactly. It's a big quotes on the can't there. Yeah.
Yes.
And also, sometimes they're doing you a favor. It's a shitty feeling, but once you get that kind of negging going on, you're like, oh, you're just trying to get me to jump through hoops for your approval, whether that's in conversation, how I act. And the key to that is they'll continually withhold it. This is especially important information for anyone who has suffered from a narcissist or might be codependent. Big warnings when people start doing that stuff. Oh, I kind of liked you better when you fill in the blank. Oh, really? Then I should leave then. Bye.
Yeah, like, sorry.
Yeah.
Not getting that from me anymore.
Yeah. Why don't you go find someone else who can fulfill that for you? So long.
Yeah, seriously, not gonna be me.
We move along to Alleged D, who writes, best tips for a perfect outfit?
Oh man.
What are some
My
core
perfect
essentials? Go ahead.
my perfect outfit has pink incorporated anywhere. So I
That
dyed my hair.
yeah. Is that your company name as well, Pink Incorporated? Because it could be.
Pink. It should be.
It absolutely should be.
Giving me so many ideas today, Craig. Oh my god. um perfect outfit. Well, perfect outfit one is anything you're most comfortable, most confident in. That is your perfect outfit. It is subjective to your fashion sense, to your comfortability, to however you feel. So I think that's important to note. My perfect outfit though would
Yeah.
be some sort of like little top with some fuzzy on the bra. Maybe not even like a real shirt, maybe just a bra.
Right.
A big hoop or a big earring, a little mini skirt, and I always, add some heels with it, like those thigh-high boots that Ari wears. I'm in love with her. So I got a lot of that inspiration from her. Those cute little thigh-high. So in the winter, if you want to wear a mini skirt, you can, and you'll still be warm with the thigh-high boots because those are pretty warm. So that's a tip.
Yeah,
That's
there you go. Don't let your look suffer because of the elements.
Yeah, like listen, I look great. Am I freezing? Yeah, but I look great.
You'd probably be kind of cold anyway if you had a thin layer of fabric wrapped around that leg anyway. It's not making that big of a difference.
Exactly. So who cares?
I like what you said about anything you feel good in, because I think anything that you feel strong, confident, sexy, those are interchangeable words, I think, because they all kind of mean the same thing. To me, if you feel like you're dressed in your armor of choice, that's what is best for you to walk out in the world with. And that might mean a hoodie or sweatpants or, whatever it is. But that's the perfect outfit. I think whatever you feel best in, because sometimes I will change my shirt, and they're all mostly patterned shirts, but I'm like, no, that more this one today. And I don't know why, but yeah, right? You put it on, you're like, oh, I feel better now.
Yes, it's subjective to the day too. It doesn't it's whatever you feel is your best self that day and what's going to represent you on that day.
You just had
to
an
be your best self.
Yeah.
I had an OobaGoobaDoo. That's going to be our new word
totally
to describe everything.
Welcome to OobaGoobaDoo with your host. Yeah.
Thank you.
OobaGoobaDoo, a product of Pink Incorporated.
Yes, thank you so much. Give me $1 million.
See, and there's the tagline. It's just happening. It's just happening all over.
Look at us.
Ara Grease wants to know how to make men scared of them. That's a good question.
Oh boy. Ooh, I think the best way to scare a man is to like yourself and to be authentically yourself and not stand down. Like if men are gonna say, men love to do that like devil's advocate shit, or just like say, like, try and always be right, or mansplain something and just like, I know. Okay. Yeah, I know exactly what you're saying. Like, that's my thing. I don't like to stand down. I don't like to, and it's hard because like I also am a sensitive person. And so like if there's conflict within and I want to make him scared, like I am sensitive to it and I feel bad, but also I'm like, fuck you, So I think the best, just like know yourself, just know your shit. You know yourself the best. If he wants to play devil's advocate, you can be like, cool, like I didn't ask. Like I
don't care, Kevin.
Really,
just to borrow a phrase from you.
I don't care, Kevin. Like seriously, I don't care, Michael. I don't care, Sam. Shut the fuck up. Like I think being as bold as possible. Just like, okay, I didn't ask. Okay, I don't care. Like be authentic.
Yeah.
Like that, because it confuses them because they're so used to people like having to be intrigued by them, not even wanting to, but having to be like having to listen, having to talk with them and like argue with them. Like they love that shit. And I think just like 1 to 3 word possible answer is the best way to make them feel as uncomfortable as possible. I don't care.
And another good thing I've seen happen, and have used myself sometimes, is someone tries to be like the big subject matter expert, And it just happens to be something that I know everything about, which it's not like
Yes.
you know what I mean? And I love dropping that on them if they're being an asshole. Otherwise, it's like, I'm not kind of a dick, like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like I don't have any interest in that. I always think of record store guys. Oof, the
Oh
worst.
man. Or car guys.
Oh,
No,
God. Oh, ooh, God. Yeah.
not a car guy.
I always
But
hated
use them to fix your car.
Well, that's what car guys
Use
are
a man.
for. Yeah. And then, we should go to Morgan A. Coburn because Morgan has a question that is related to the previous answer. What's the best way to emasculate someone that's being condescending to you? Bonus points if it's an armchair expert in a field you're literally getting a PhD in.
Ew. Oh, I hate men. All right. Like, I think, again, like, if it's something that you already know your shit in, let them know that you know your shit. You know what the fuck you're talking about. Like, prove them wrong. I feel like playing devil's advocate right back to those men with the giant goddamn egos. Like,
Yeah.
just playing it right back. Play your ego right back. Have the, like, most confidence in the room, like, and it's hard, but like this is one of those moments where like faking it till you make it works. Like that is
Yes.
the best way to emasculate them, because it's like, you think you have a big dick, well I do too. Like, seriously.
I have to tape mine down to keep it
Yeah.
from swinging. Just like lay that on them.
Seriously.
Drop the fucking hammer. Drop the hammer on them.
Yes. And like just anything they say, even if it trips you up, just not acting like it does. Just being as displeased as possible, which is so easy for me because I'm quite displeased every time a man speaks to me. I'm like, okay. Or just like treat them like they don't. Oh, I have so many ideas. Treat them like they don't know what they're talking about. Like,
Yeah.
oh, but I don't think you'd really understand that. Like, I don't think your like pea brain would really get that. I'm sorry.
I tell you, but I don't want to
boy.
confuse you,
I tell you, but I don't want to confuse you. I just don't think you'd understand. Like, you could try, but you're not gonna get it like I do. Sorry. They're so easy to say anything about them, and they're so easy to get on their defense. Like, what? Like, shut
What
up,
the
dude.
fuck? Huh?
Yo, what the fuck? Like, what the fuck? Calm down, Brian. It's not that goddamn serious. I think just looking as just as displeased as possible. Just like, oh, you're talking to me? to me? Oh, I don't care. Like,
Yeah.
just very just not interested, because I feel like men get so fucking mad when you're not 100% in on their conversation because everything is about them. So like, just very I think even unresponsive sometimes is like funny. Just like go on your phone, like don't really like pay attention to what they're saying, because men will call us sensitive. Oh, these straight cis men will call us sensitive. They are the most sensitive creatures I have ever met in my life. I'm serious.
Yeah.
So sensitive. And so just not being interested, not engaged, or even if you are engaged, play that devil's advocate. I think that's the funniest shit, to play their game right back.
Yeah.
Even if what they're saying may be right, how many times have you been saying something that was 100% right and a man was there like, well, I think, and it's just like, shut up. I don't care what you think.
Well, the other way to look at it, that kind of stuff.
Oh my God. Like, have you thought of it from this angle? And it's like, bitch, probably. And even if I haven't, I don't want to hear it from you, Kyle.
And Chad, don't even open your mouth.
Yeah, Chad, just I will sew your mouth shut. Like,
Ermly Not Okay writes, how do you reply to accusations of being sexist and misandrist? First off, I just want to say it's no crime to be sexy. Okay, so that's that. I think we've answered the question.
Yeah, the question, it's answered. It's there. Accusations of being sexy. Well, I am.
I know, right? Well, you're just going to have to say, look, you got me, fellas.
Deal with it. Here I am, bitch. That is so funny. I think it's very hilarious when men are like fucking misandrous. Chrissy's a fucking misandrist, and it's like, I wonder where misandry is rooted from. Because misandry is a little word that these straight cis white men, you know, who are the ones that feel as if they're the most oppressed, you know,
Oh, of
have
course.
created because they want to feel oppressed. They want to be included in oppression. And it's like, oh my God. First of all, and it's fucked up beyond belief. One,
Yeah.
but two, misandry is a result from misogyny, and misogyny kills. And misandry is just really accountability culture towards men, and also a little annoying. Like misandry just annoys them. Like I'll be like, I'm a misandrist and I'm proud, and they're like, what the fuck, yo, what the fuck, man. That's my impression of a straight man.
I love it.
Yo, like that's just like not cool, bro. I can't. And it really is in response to when a woman or somebody is like, hey, that's so fucking misogynistic what you just did. Like that is messed up. And they're like, oh my God, I'm oppressed. You're hurting my feelings by telling me that I did something wrong. That's
Right.
on you.
Right.
Like, so if people want to call me a misandrist, like, okay, like misandrist and proud, bitch. Like
Yeah.
it's not a real thing. It's not a real thing.
Yeah.
When misogyny is so real and it kills every single day and should be taken seriously. So, and you can't really be sexist towards men.
It doesn't work.
No.
It doesn't work. There's like men have not traditionally had horrible workplace oppression or any of the number of other things. I'm just using that as the one example.
Yeah.
You know, I'm sure there, you know, if a man was sexually harassed at a job, probably it was another man doing it.
Yes.
I mean,
like 99% of sexual harassment and rape is from other men. And like, yes, hold the women accountable who are doing it, but like, if majority of the men you're going to be around are the ones that have done that, like, of course you're going to say all men.
the conclusion of that is it's perfectly fine and legal to be both sexy and misandrist.
Yes, thank you. I'm a prime example.
You approve this message then?
I approve this message.
Then we move along to Wister Iadir, who writes, oh, by the way, I'd like to add, for future versions of this, if people want their given name in this, please say from and your name. Otherwise, we will continue to maybe pronounce correctly, maybe not pronounce correctly, your name.
Yes.
But OobaGoobaDoo, you are OobaGoobaDoo no matter
Stay
what. Yes.
forever, never change.
No, forever OobaGoobaDoo to us. Okay. And then, so then Wister Iadir, or Wisteria Deer, writes, there's a boy in my history class who says that there's no wage gap between men and women. I want to argue against him and stop him from spreading misinfo, but I'm too nervous that he's going to get super aggressive. Any tips?
That's really scary because men tend to be extremely aggressive and you want to be in a safe situation.
Yeah, that's a very good point. In any situation where you might feel fear, I just want to add, some people would say this is not the right answer for certain things, but, you know, just figure out what the safest passage for you is to get out of there.
Yes, it's very true because as much as it's important to fight for ourselves and, you know, other people, if a person is aggressive, they don't care. Like, they don't care about you. They don't care about other people. And it is important. Their best option is to get out and maybe not, as much as you should have the right to poke the bear in the moment, maybe
Right.
not do it.
Right.
And so I think the best way to maybe approach that situation is just to approach it with a very basic conversation. You don't have to make it a personal conversation, but men do tend to take those things very personally, even if you're not directly saying that they had done it, even though they probably did. But that's really tough to answer because I think the most important thing when you're dealing with an aggressive man is to get the fuck out. Do not deal with it. I've had to do that multiple times. Just like, as much as I want to fight you, as much as I want to stand my ground, I have to leave because that's more important.
Right.
And you know yourself, and most likely you are not going to change a person's mind if he is that aggressive and that into his thoughts about it. Like, you're most likely not going to change his mind no matter what you do. And you want to educate as much as you can. And that's important. Education, accountability, etc. is super important. But safety is the most important.
I think also trying to figure out, is this argument going to be like a Facebook argument, or will it actually result in something? Because Facebook arguments, they're pointless, right? And it's just a waste of your energy. Not that it's a bad thing to do to try to change, someone's idiot opinion, but it might not work out for the best.
Exactly.
Sonia McNamara, and I'm shocked to see an actual full name here besides OobaGoobaDoo.
Yeah, look at that.
I know, right? And then Sonia writes, I've got an interview for a promotion at work. What should I wear to impress, and how do I boost my confidence? This is sort of like a couple different things that we talked about, all rolled into one. Yeah.
I think, like we mentioned before, based on outfits and everything, whatever you feel the most comfortable in is going to boost your confidence during that interview. So unfortunately, there's dress code at certain workplaces, which is dumb because I don't want to do that. But unfortunately, there is. So, obviously looking over their dumb dress code and then taking that, using that to buy maybe yourself a new outfit. Like, buy something nice for yourself, buy something new that you haven't worn before. So you can be like, oh, look at me in my new outfit. That's cute that I chose myself. And something that just fits your identity and confidence, whatever that may be.
Yeah, something that marries the two requirements. You feel good, and it's within the confines that they approve. And you can find that sweet spot.
Yes. And doesn't mean you have to wear a skirt. You could wear a pantsuit. You could be super dope like that. It doesn't matter. Just whatever you feel your best self in, I think, is the best thing to wear.
In terms of clothing, we have another question here from Hope Nicholas, who wants to know how to dress like a hot bimbo.
How to dress like a hot bimbo? Well, check my Instagram.
You have an instruction manual. You have visual aids. It's all there. Yeah,
it's all there, babe. I think, well, we've discovered, with this new age bimbo stuff, we realized that bimboism before was not as inclusive, was not really a great thing per se, period, because one, having a man tell you who you are is horrible too, but also kind of the whole capitalist and the internalized misogynistic male gaze that a lot of these people maybe have. So we're talking about the new age bimbo.
Yeah.
And the new age bimbo wears, like we said again, whatever she feels the most fucking confident in. Bimbo now doesn't have to be, you don't have to be dumb, which I don't think I am, but I'm bad at math.
I'd like to say you have different skills than some other people. I'm not
exactly.
I'm not terrific at math either. Listen, we have calculators, so it's fine.
Yeah, bitch, it's on my phone. I'm good. If I have to do multiplication, I'll do it on my phone. Okay. Yeah. That's how it is.
Yeah.
So
entertain millions of people, no problem.
Yeah. Boom.
Yeah.
Done.
You got that. You got that.
I got it in the bag, bitch. So, but yeah, just this really new age bimboism is just accepting of literally everybody, and it's more of a self-love call. So it's whatever makes you feel great in your own skin, whatever makes you love yourself, makes you feel the most confident. I feel that's what it really is rooted in, what you wear that makes you the most confident, how you act, what you say that serves you at the end of the day rather than other people. And if you want to dress like a hot and sexy bimbo, there's the wonderful, beautiful hot and sexy bimbos I can lead you towards. We have my great friend Griffin Maxwell Brooks. They are extremely fashionable. They've been wearing these gorgeous red platform heels lately, and I'm like, bitch, you look good as hell. And then there's my friend Faux Rich. She also is within Bimbo Talk with me. Glitter Paris. I don't know if you know Glitter Paris.
Not yet. I'm looking forward to finding out.
Oh my gosh. She is everything. She's everything. We're gonna be doing videos together soon.
Fantastic.
She loved Glitter Paris. Fam La Rotten too. They are a goth bimbo and bimbo goth as well. That you can really base your style off of. So there's like a lot of people. Like you can totally look at my account if you really like the pink and the feminine like aspect of that. But there's like so many other fucking awesome people that identify as a new age bimbo that dress like it too, however they interpret it as. So it's your interpretation. It's subjective. It's up to you.
And it's a state of mind, and it's kind of like someone talking about punk rock. Punk rock isn't one specific look. It isn't a dog collar and a mohawk. It's an attitude. So this is an attitude. It's a state of mind. It's a spiritual state, if you will.
Yes, it's a state. It's a spiritual state of mind. I love that.
Fantastic.
It's exactly what it is.
Well, I think we've had a wonderful session of Ask Craig and Chrissy. There's a lot more questions. We will get to them another time. And is there anything you'd like to say before we hit stop on the recorder?
Men suck, you're hot, math is hard, and God is a woman.
So remember, we said earlier, sometimes you need little chants to override the loops and all that stuff. You got it right there. So just play that back to yourself anytime you need. Repeat it over and over and write it on the wall. Exactly.
Write it on, tattoo it on you. Do it. Get my name tattooed on you also.
Yeah, definitely. That's step one. Let's move that up to step one.
Step one, tattoo my name on you. Step two, tattoo that phrase on you.
That's
whatever
right.
it was.
And then step three, get some OobaGoobaDoo. Step four, just like hang out on the couch, get comfy.
Kiss a girl. Who knows?
That's good. Let's put that at 2.5. That's in between 2 and 3. I think that's very important. Yeah. And so depending on the mood, might move up to 1.5 because the second tattoo, right?
You're right. No, 100% agree. 100% agree.
Because you want to give a little time in between tattoos, particularly if they're in the same area. You don't want to aggravate it.
That's true. That is very true. Even though I've done that before. It wasn't a great idea. But
you're determined, as we all know. And you're determined to give people the advice they need. So we'll be back with another one at some point. And until next time, everyone, love you all.
Love you so much, bitches.